All right. 5075E John Deere. This is, we're gonna bump out the wheels. This is factory wheel spacing right here. See down the side. We are disc in, and it looks like the ring is a little wider on the other side, not by much, but it's a little wider on that side, so we're going to leave disc in. And since we're on the outside, actually, no, we're going to take this wheel off, put it over there, and put that wheel over here. So then we'll be, we'll have the wider part of the disc out. And then I can show you inside in the manual real quick, but we're disc out and the ring is in, and then we're on the outside of the spacers. Now I could put the wheels on the inside of the spacers and get another 2 inches, but that's not going to be much. Our measurement that I'll show you in the manual is from center of the wheel. I still have the little carcass, the carcass, whatever you call that. I had a term for that and now I can't think of it, but anyways, it's where the deal goes together. You measure there and it's 59.5 inches. It's 9 inches from here to the outside of the tire. So you add 18 inches to 59.5. That gives you your outside dimension of this. What we're going to do is we're going to jack this up. We're going to leave the disc out. I mean, obviously I'm going to switch them, but I'm going to take the wheel off. The disc will still be out. We're going to be on the inside. Actually, we're going to be on this side of the spacer, but with the wheel facing the opposite direction. So we're going to take that disc off. We're going to spin it around and put it on this side of the spacer. And then we'll have this wheel on that side and that wheel on this side. So then our valve stem will be outside as well. That is going to put our front valve stem on the inside, but obviously, as you can tell, it's easier to get to that than it is to get to the back valve stem, because you have to deal with this. You have to rotate it around, find it and all that, and that's not really, there it is there. Still not easy to get to. That's not why we're doing it. I like being able to sit in the cab and see the outside of my tire. Two, we mow. You see the stuff I mow. I don't get easy stuff to mow. I mow some pretty steep stuff a lot of times. We do have the skid loader, so I can mow stuff with it. This thing is pretty capable. I've got one place that I'm putting a bid on right now. It's about like the Death Pond, but it's 3 times as big. I used to mow stuff like that with the tractor, and I haven't for a while because I have a skid loader. But it may actually be a better thing to mow it with the tractor. I don't know. I may try it at least. Anyways, so let's bump out some wheels and tires. Let's show you the dimensions first. Okay? So, and then we'll get it inside. I'll get it up on the jack stands, and then I'll show you guys kind of how I do it. So here's where we're at. Okay, we are disc out, which is here. We're on the outside of the deal, and most of the wheel is inside, so we're E. I don't know why John Deere can't put it on the same page. They can't figure it out. We have a 16.9 by 28. We're 59.5 inches. If we go to where we're talking about going, we'll be 67.5 inches, which is here. We'll be disc out, ring out, and we'll be on the outside of the spacer. So, which will get us 69 or 67.5 plus 18. I think it's 85 or something. Yeah, 85.5 inches. So we'll be just a hair over 7 foot wide, spaced out that way. The reason I kind of like that is because I like to have about 6 inches of trim out on my brush hog. I've got an 8-foot brush hog. It's about 100 inches wide. So that'll give me roughly 6 inches of trim out on the brush hog. A little more wouldn't be bad, but if we only go 2 inches on this, I mean, that's our other choices. We can go 2 inches. That's 2 inches. That's not gonna really do much. I thought about doing that when I had the low deck trailer with fenders, but we've got a deck over now. I can do what I want. I'm back to setting them up the way I like them. So we'll get that kicked out, and then hopefully we can get this kicked out to where at least the outside of the tires on the center of the back tire, that's kind of a magic little place for it that I like to have them. We can always we can do the dish. We can always put it out, but I don't think we need to be kicked out way crazy like that. So let's get a last look of this baby in factory form. You see it? Next time you see a picture sitting right there, it's going to be with the wheels out. Let's get these things put out. All right, what I've got, I even went and got a new bottle jack for this because I always seem to need another bottle jack. I just went and bought one. 20-ton bottle jack on each side. You could have a 12-ton. My gosh, you could have a 6-ton, and it'd be fine. I always just buy the 20-ton. It's the heaviest version of what most places carry. I don't know anything about that Big Red brand. It has a sticker hooting and hollering about a welded cylinder. Hell, I'd rather have something you could take it apart like that old AC Delco I've had for years and years. But I like to get them to where it just barely, well, I don't know why that side won't move. This side will move. It's barely off the ground. Let's check it. I think the side's off the ground, maybe. Nope. When I jacked it up, when I jacked the other side up, it took away my daylight. I just barely like it off the ground like that. Let's check this side again. Yep, barely off the ground. You don't want it to jolt the tractor, make it do crazy stuff. This should be fine. My wife made a comment. I had a problem years ago. Bought a used tractor, didn't know it was full of calcium. I put one jack in the middle. No. Put one jack in the middle, figured, oh, it'd be okay. I'll take one side off, ease the other side off. Well, not when this side has calcium in it, and you pop the tire off that's next to a wall that you're working on, and the tire comes off and you're not expecting it full of calcium. So when you buy a used tractor, always check it, make sure you have air, not liquid filled tires. Extremely dangerous if you don't know about it. I didn't know about it. Took it off, it slammed me into the wall. I was stuck in between my tire and the wall. The tractor tilted over and about slid off the jack because I only had one jack. So a bunch of no-nos. So learn from my experience, don't do that. Very dangerous. We've got a jack on each side. I'm gonna loosen the deals off. I've got a pry bar here that we're gonna use as a tire bar. Actually, I like the smaller one because it's lighter. I'm gonna go get a pry bar, a long pry bar that I enjoy using for the same thing. Let's see what we got. I mean, I don't enjoy using anything, but if you have to use something, use this pry bar that's had a broken handle on it for a long time. But anyways, and they are 1 1/8" lug nuts, and then your dish bolts are 15/16. So we're going to take this wheel off, spin the dish, and then this wheel's going over here, so our tread pattern's going the right way, but I want the deep part of the dish, or the deep part of the ring out, and then this tire's going over there. So let's get with it. All right, now you see what we just did there? So we're on the inside of the, or on the outside of the spacer, but we have the dish going out. Now this tire is going to go on the passenger side, so it's going the right direction. So we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So now I can take this tire off. I can roll it over here. I'm probably going to lean it up against the shelf. Then I'll bring that tire, put it over here, and put it on. So all right, I'm gonna go get that other tire. I have 2 lug nuts, or lug bolts rather, up here ready to go. My tire bar's within reaching distance. We'll get the wheel. And yes, these are very heavy. More awkward probably than heavy. If you have a friend help you. I have friends, but it's hard for me to get people to help. I figure I'd take you off the time lapse because I'm going to explain what I'm doing with this tire bar. Well, it's a pry bar, but they have tire bars like this. So see, now I got that up on the hub. Well, of course, your lug nuts aren't going to match. Your lug nuts won't be lined up. So now, you take this bar very carefully. Remember, you're on jacks. You can rotate this wheel on your hub until your lug nuts line up. That looks pretty good. And you have your lug bolts up here. Just a touch more, like not much at all. I like to get at least 2. I run them all the way down. This isn't a heavy tractor, but it's heavy enough. If something were to happen and this takes off, it could snap a single lug nut, or it may be able to snap both if they're loose. So snug them up to the washer, and then go ahead and do the same thing to all the other lug bolts. Would be my suggestion. This is just what I do. I feel a lot better once at least half of the tractor has a wheel back on it in the back. I don't know about you, and I'm excited. I can see my glass there, and I'm assuming I may be able to see the edge of that tire now. And this is about where I set my tractors. I like them with an 8-foot brush hog. That's normally what I set on them. I like my tractor sitting with about 6 inches, maybe 8 inches of trim out on the deck. Not actual cut width, but I want that deck sitting about 6 or 8 inches outside. Just my preference. There's no rhyme or reason, nothing for it. That's just kind of where I like to have them. Now, if you're not worried about scratching the wheels, which I like my stuff looking nice, you can unbolt the wheels, and I've seen guys spin them to where the spacers are out and you can slide that wheel out, especially if you have a second person helping you. I don't do that. I don't want to take a chance of scratching the wheel. I know that's stupid, but I want the tractor to look nice for as long as possible. Anyways, all right, all those are ran down at least to the washer. They're just, hand tight. Now, let's take a look. If I had an extra set of wheels and tires, or it wasn't that crazy hard to get that thing on there, we'd do it. But see how that tire's kicked out nice now? I like that. I like that. And you could definitely, I think, line of sight, you guys could probably see that tire from the cab. I'm not going any wider than that, so it doesn't matter. If I can't see it, so be it. But that's about where I usually set them. It seems like it's a little wide. Nice thing is, now you've got room in here. Because with those factory wheels, the wheel spacing, it sits in here. You just have no room to get in here. I mean, it's like a struggle to get here. I mean, you've already got an attachment and everything else. It makes this area nicer. Notice that I've got a block of wheel. I guess that's a good thing to point out. I've got a block of wheel. I have a block of wood on each side. I don't like running that jack all the way up on that casting. I like softening it up a little bit, and it gives it a little bit more bite, so it doesn't slide as easy on that cast. I know it sounds kind of dumb, but that's what I do. I would suggest putting a block of wood. That one's just screwed together for some reason. I don't know. I cut down one of my 6x6s. If you work on equipment, you ought to go get you a 6x6 and kind of bump it into 2-foot sections. For some reason, a couple of them were longer. Don't know why, but anyways. And now, see that grease zerk? Before, that wheel was like way in here. It was so hard to get to it. Now look at it. I mean, I can reach in there and touch it. So, all right, well, I'm gonna get this other side. I'm gonna switch the disc. You guys probably don't need to watch me doing that because you just watched me doing that on time lapse. Didn't take very long. All right, well, what I think I'm gonna try to do, since this wheel's drastically smaller and I'm going to the outside of the disc on both, I don't want to scratch it, but I'm gonna try to take the bolts off, leave the bolts on, and slide the wheel off of it, because I should be able to pick up this wheel pretty good. So let's see. This might turn out bad and I might end up pulling off the wheel. I don't know. It wasn't bad. I think it'll look pretty good. I think what I'm gonna do is try to just hang. I don't want to attempt any more than that. Actually, go like this. When we go to put it on, I can sit down here like a car. Maybe just deal with 2 of them, get those on, get the nuts on, and then we can put the rest of the bolts in. Let me get the other side pulled off. We'll come back to this side and we'll see if it works. We're going the right way, yeah. And again, these are just like the back wheels. I don't have them off the ground very far at all. So well, and the very first thing you ever do with the tractor, when you bring it home, don't lose your lug nut. Always check your tire pressure. I checked my tire pressure, and they had 35 pounds in the back. Now, the book says 12. I got about 15 or 18 now. I'm gonna see what 15 or 18, because I've got a heavy brush hog. I gotta pick it up, going up a hill, lugging it. I usually run a little heavier. I usually run like 15 to 18 in the back, 15 in the front, somewhere around in there. Maybe 12, we'll see what it does. We'll see what's in them. But my gosh, that contributes to some of the weight that I had, or some of the bounciness I had in that. I guess I got the lug nut on the other side. I'm gonna get this tightened up and we'll get this thing outside. Give me a minute. All right. Now we think. We kicked out the fronts to the outside of you know, we switched the wheels basically. This was that wheel over there, and it made it to where the dish was towards the outside. This tire's kicked a little bit this way, but you can see, you know, we're well within, you know, half of the outside of the tire. I kind of like to have it halfway in the center of the tread. That's just kind of a magic place that I found that I really like. Kick the wheels out. I don't know if you remember, you might have to rewind the video, but before the tires were way in here. I mean, which was nice for keeping it clean, but just that little bit there is going to make this tractor a lot more stable. To me, that's the way a tractor should look. It should be kicked out. I always kind of mowed. I've been mowing since I was a kid, so every time I mow with a tractor, this is kind of how they were set up. So I got used to it. I kind of like it. I cleaned the inside of what used to be the inside of the wheels. Now we can get to the valve stems, which is nice. I did deflate them down to about 17 pounds. See, now we can almost call her a big booty Judy or something. But see, now I can get in here and I can get to that greaser, because before that tire, remember, was about, what did I tell you, 9 inches? I think it ended up being 8 or 9 inches. What was it? Yeah, it was about 8 or 9 inches. It was 59.5 and 60, now it's 67.5 or so, center to center, I believe. Anyways, but now you can get in here. I can get to that greaser pretty easy. Now with the attachment, I'm not going to be wedged, you know, because the tire was literally about right there. So now I'm not going to be wedged. I got room to open this up, maneuver around, move, get inside there. It's kicked out, you know, fairly wide to where it's not wider than the mower. This is just where I like to set them. It went pretty good. So as always, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. If you like videos like this, let me know. Shoot me a comment. I'm probably going to post this on the couple of 5000 series pages that I'm on Facebook. That way people can see what they look like. I kept trying to find one that was kicked out just enough, and I wanted to know what configuration it was. And I'm like, I'm just going to pull my book out. I'm just going to measure the center of the tire, and we're just going to go at it. We're going to make it work. And I definitely like the results. Definitely. So, that's it for today, or at least for this video. I might go pull a tree. I don't know what time it is. No, it's 4 o'clock. I'm not going to go pull a tree. There's a cluster of 3 trees down at the corner of my property I need to pull. It's big. It's a big, tall, giant walnut, like 40, 50 foot tall at least. Anyways, that'll be another day. But kicking wheels out on a 5075E. You guys have a great rest of the day. See ya.